Yo, what's up, everybody? I am in Pittsburgh, coming to you live. Not actually live, that was yesterday. But here is your stuff for today. So, what you're going to start on today is a little research project. We're doing an introduction to research, and later on in the year, we're going to be doing a lot more of it. But what's really cool about this research is that we have the best research tool possible right at our fingertips. And this is something that very few kids in America have, in school at least, all the time. And so you guys are really, really lucky to be able to use computers and the internet every single day in class. We're going to use this as the biggest possible learning tool that we can. So the first big question to answer is, what is research? Research is using resources to find out information about a topic. So if we take any topic that we want to learn about, because we have resources like the internet or like textbooks or like all kinds of other books or magazines or whatever, we can find the information that we want to know no matter what. It's all there. We just have to find it. But when we're doing research, there is one thing that we have to avoid, and that's called plagiarism. Plagiarism. Plagiarism is passing off someone else's work as your own. One really big example is copying from the internet or from other sources without giving the credit that is due. Later on, we're going to be working on citing sources the correct way and citing particularly internet sources into the work that we write. But for today, we just have to know that we absolutely cannot copy stuff from the internet. That's plagiarism. So we're going to look at a few examples of things that are plagiarism, things that aren't, and talk about what makes something plagiarism and what makes something not plagiarism. In this case, let's say I asked a question to the class. I was like, you guys today are going to research what is mercantilism. And then let's say Angel went online and she found on Wikipedia, she finds this: mercantilism is an economic theory practice commonly used in Europe from the 16th to the 18th century, blah, 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 blah. Is this plagiarism? Absolutely. She copied it straight from Wikipedia, so it is not her work. It is not anything that I'm going to give her credit for. She will receive 2 big fat zeros, and I don't know that she actually understood anything about what mercantilism is. So why not? Why can't we understand? Why can't we plagiarize? Why not just, the internet information is there, right? Why can't we just copy from the internet? Well, for one, it's copying. You're pretending that what somebody else's wrote is yours. What someone else wrote is yours. So that's somebody else's work that you're taking for yourself, and you're passing that off as your own, and that's cheating. That's copying. So that's one reason why. But the bigger reason is that you're not showing that you understand what you're writing about. Anybody can go on the internet and copy and paste something that sounds smart, and then they think makes them look smart. But they're not learning anything, and they're not showing anyone that they know anything, because all they did was copy and paste. A robot can do that. But you, as students, are going to show me how super smart you are by taking the information you find on the internet and making it your own. So let's look at a few examples of whether something is plagiarism and whether something is not. I'm actually pretty good at figuring out if what a student has on their paper is plagiarism and if it's not. So let's look at this example. Got Jean-Baptiste Lemoyne de Bienville, February 23rd, 1680, March 7th, 1767, was a colonizer born in Montreal, Quebec, and an early repeated governor of French Louisiana, appointed 4 separate times during 1701 to 1743. If I read this, I would think it was, I don't know. It's up to you to answer. Check in a second. Absolutely. This is completely plagiarized. Right? No way would an 8th grade student use the parentheses this way. No way would an 8th grade student use the commas in that way, in that complicated clauses. Would they put colonizer, early repeated governor, appointed 4 separate times? No way. Right? This is much too complicated of a sentence for an 8th grader to write. If, on the other hand, I got something like this, what would I think? Right. This makes sense. An 8th grader could definitely write that he was born in Montreal, Quebec, and was a governor of French Louisiana. He was a governor 4 separate times between 1701 and 1743. This makes sense. If I read this, I would understand that an 8th grader could have written this, that this is the vocabulary an 8th grader uses, this is the way that an 8th grader writes. It makes sense to me. I can tell if you copied something, I can tell if you read something and then wrote it in your own words. Writing it in your own words shows me that you understood what you read. It shows me you're not copying somebody else's work and pretending it's yours. And it shows me that now you actually know the answer to that question. So it's really, really important to take what you read and write it in your own words. Let's try another one. Exactly. This one right here, the first one, clearly copied. Right? The words like culminations and tensions and that have been and how long the sentence is enforcing the heavy tax burden imposed by the Townshend Acts. Give me a break. No way was that an 8th grader. Unless it was a really, 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 really smart one. Like me in 8th grade maybe. But no, I'm not actually that smart. But when you go to this one, this makes sense. An 8th grader could have written this, and it explains the same information in an 8th grader's voice. When you're doing research, take the information you see and write it up as your own. Now it's your turn. On your paper in front of you, you have a whole bunch of questions about different parts of America. Pretty soon we're going to take all these parts of America, put them on a map. I'll show you how to do that tomorrow when I get back. And you're going to find the answers on the internet without plagiarizing, without copying. Here's some tips. 1. Type in the question in Google, but don't just look at the first search result. Whenever you type the question, there's a whole bunch of different results in your Google search. Like if I wanted what's the importance of the Mississippi River, I would Google what is the importance of the Mississippi River, and then I'd scroll down the results and see which one looks best. Next, once I click on my result, then there's going to be a whole bunch of text on that page. I'm going to use that Control F that we talked about the other day to find keywords in the document. If I'm looking for the word commerce, I'm going to do Control F and commerce, and then I'll find where that is so I can go right to where I need to be reading. Remember, guys, don't plagiarize.